Chosen one, why are you awake right now? Why did you click on this video at this exact moment when everyone else is sleeping? What if I told you that your sleepless nights, your restless spirit, your constant feeling that something's about to break open in your life, isn't anxiety at all? It's prophecy. Listen to me, chosen one. It's 2 a.m. somewhere in America right now. Someone watching this can't sleep. Your chest feels tight. Your mind won't stop racing. You keep checking your phone, scrolling, searching for something. You don't even know what. But I do. You're standing in front of a door you've never seen before. It's been locked for years, maybe decades. The paint is chipped. The handle is worn from all the times you've tried to turn it. But tonight you feel something different in your pocket. The key is in your hand. What if the 31st of July isn't just another date on your calendar? What if every single thing that's broken you, tested you, isolated you for the last 10 years wasn't punishment at all? What if the pain didn't come to stay, but to announce something? Right now, as I'm speaking these words, there are forces in the spiritual realm that know your name. They've been watching, they've been waiting, and they're about to move. If your spirit already knows this message is for you, if something just shifted inside your chest, when I said the 31st of July, type 777 inch, the comments right now. Don't think about it. Don't wait. Your soul knows. And before we go any deeper, I want to thank every single one of you who has supported this message through super thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just giving, you're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you sow that seed tonight or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support, your time, your attention, it all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, go ahead. But don't you dare walk away now. Don't close this video. Don't let fear make you miss what heaven is about to reveal. Because what I'm about to tell you may explain your entire last decade. The losses, the delays, the doors that slammed shut, the people who walked away, the dreams that seemed to die. The 31st of July, 2025. Mark it. Feel it. Your pain has an expiration date. And that door, it's about to swing wide open. Stay with me. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to glide through life while you've had to crawl through broken glass just to breathe? Have you ever asked God why the person sitting next to you in church received their miracle in 3 months while you've been waiting 30 years? Have you ever felt like you're fighting a war that nobody else can see where the battlefield is, your own heart, and the enemy knows exactly where to strike? You've lived long enough to know that not all wounds bleed. Some bury themselves so deep in silence that even your closest family doesn't know you're dying inside. You wake up every morning, put on that brave face, serve others, smile at the grocery store, say I'm blessed when people ask how you're doing. But when the lights go out at night, when the house gets quiet, when there's nowhere left to hide, that's when the real battle begins. Dear chosen one, I need you to hear something that might shake you to your core. What you've been calling your struggle, that decades-long wrestling match with disappointment, that crushing weight of unanswered prayers, that gnawing feeling that God somehow forgot your address. It wasn't random suffering. It was strategic preparation. You raised your children right. You served God faithfully. You tithed when you couldn't afford it, loved when it hurt to love, forgave when forgiveness felt impossible. But still, life hit you like a freight train going full speed. The divorce papers, the pink slip, the doctor's report, the phone call at 2 a.m. that changed everything forever. And you're sitting there wondering, did I miss something? Did I take a wrong turn somewhere? Why does it feel like I'm being punished for trying to do right? Let me tell you about a man named Job. The Bible says he was blameless and upright, feared God and turned away from evil. He had everything: wealth, family, respect, health. Then in one day, it was all stripped away. His children died. His livestock perished. His body was covered in painful sores from head to toe. His friends came and told him what you've probably heard 1,000 times. You must have done something wrong. Good people don't suffer like this. But here's what they didn't understand, and here's what the church often gets wrong. Job wasn't being punished. He was being positioned. God wasn't angry with Job. Satan was terrified of him. Think about Hannah in the Bible. Year after year, she went to the temple and prayed for a child. Year after year, nothing. Her rival mocked her. Her husband tried to comfort her with empty words. The priest thought she was drunk when she prayed with such desperation. But God wasn't ignoring Hannah. He was preparing her to birth a prophet. Consider the woman with the issue of blood. 12 years she suffered. 12 years she spent every penny on doctors who couldn't help her. 12 years she was considered unclean, untouchable, excluded from society. But when she touched the hem of Jesus' garment, her healing didn't just change her life. It became a testimony that's still healing people 2,000 years later. Here's the revelation that's going to shift everything you thought you knew about your pain. God wasn't punishing you. He was hiding you for the right time. Every betrayal that cut you deep was removing people who couldn't handle where you're going. Every door that slammed in your face was protection from a path that would have destroyed you. Every season of silence wasn't God ignoring you. It was God shielding you from attacks that would have come too early, before you were ready to withstand them. You've been in spiritual boot camp, beloved. While others were getting participation trophies, you were being forged in fire. While they were learning songs, you were learning warfare. While they were building platforms, you were building character that can't be shaken. The enemy has been trying to break you because he knows something about your future that you're just now beginning to glimpse. He's seen your name written in heaven's hall of fame. He's watched God's angels preparing for your moment of emergence. He's witnessed the prayers being answered that you thought God had forgotten, so he threw everything he had at you. The sickness, the betrayal, the financial devastation, the loneliness that felt like it would suffocate you, the prayers that seemed to bounce off the ceiling, the dreams that died so many times you stopped dreaming altogether. But here's what hell didn't count on. You didn't break. You bent. You stumbled. You questioned. You cried until you had no more tears. But you didn't break. Every morning you got up anyway. Every Sunday you showed up to church anyway. Every day you chose faith over fear, hope over despair, love over bitterness. Not because you felt like it, but because something deeper than feeling kept pulling you forward. That something was destiny calling your name. The 31st of July isn't just another date on your calendar. It's the day heaven has circled in red ink. It's the moment when your hidden season ends and your harvest season begins. It's when the world finally sees what God has been building in you during all those years of silence. Your pain has been your preparation. Your wilderness has been your classroom. Your waiting has been your strengthening. If you've walked through hell but still believe, if you've been broken but refuse to become bitter, if you've been tested but haven't lost your testimony, I need you to do something right now. Comment below and declare, I didn't break. Say it out loud. Make hell hear it. Let heaven record it. Because your survival wasn't luck, it was prophecy. And chosen one, if you thought your breakthrough was impressive, wait until you see what God does with warriors who've been refined in the furnace of affliction. The door is about to open, but first, you need to understand exactly what's been hunting you all these years. There are dates that pass like dust in the wind. The 4th of July comes and goes. Christmas arrives and fades. Your birthday slips by with cake and forgotten wishes. And then there are days carved into the eternal script with divine fire. Days that don't just happen to you, they happen for you. The 31st of July, 2025 is not a coincidence, chosen one. It's a divine bookmark. The moment where heaven closes one chapter of your story and opens another just for you. But let me ask you something that's going to shake you awake. How many nights have you laid in bed wondering if God forgot your address? How many mornings have you looked in the mirror and asked, When is it my turn? The answer is the 31st of July. Listen to what Esther 4:14 says. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? For such a time as this. Not for such a time as when you feel ready. Not for such a time as when your bank account is full or your relationships are perfect. For such a time as right now, when you're broken, when you're tired, when you've been knocked down so many times you've lost count. That's when heaven moves. You see, there's something happening in the spiritual realm that your natural eyes can't see. There are divine conversations taking place about your name. Angels are being positioned. Doors that have been rusted shut for decades are having their locks oiled in preparation. The door you've been knocking on for years is about to knock back. The 31st of July isn't just another Friday. It's the day heaven has been preparing since before you took your first breath. Every disappointment, every betrayal, every moment you felt abandoned, it was all positioning you for this divine appointment. It's not just a shift, it's a crossing. It's not just a blessing, it's a reintroduction to who you were always meant to be. You want to know why your pain has been so specific? Why your struggles have felt so targeted? Because precise pain produces precise purpose. God doesn't waste your tears. He collects them, and on the 31st of July, He's about to pour them out as liquid favor over your life. Isaiah 60:1-2 declares, Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. See, darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness is over the peoples. But the Lord rises upon you, and His glory appears over you. Your light has come, beloved. Not tomorrow, not next year, the 31st of July. But here's what's going to shock you. Everything you've cried for over the last 5 years is converging on that single date. The job promotion you were passed over for, the relationship that ended without explanation, the dreams that seemed to die in silence, the health battles, the financial struggles, the nights you prayed until your knees ached, all of it converging. July 31st. This isn't wishful thinking. This is prophetic positioning. There are no accidents in the kingdom of God. The same God who set the stars in their courses and commands the morning has been orchestrating your breakthrough for this exact moment in time. You feel it, don't you? That stirring in your spirit when I mention that date, that quickening in your heart. That's not excitement, that's recognition. Your soul is remembering something your mind forgot. This appointment was made before the foundation of the world. But let me tell you what the enemy doesn't want you to know. He's terrified of the 31st of July. He's been throwing everything he can at you to make you quit before you reach it. The depression that hit you in March, the unexpected bills in May, the relationship conflicts in June, all designed to make you give up 3 weeks before your breakthrough. The devil knows something about your future that you're just now discovering. He knows that after the 31st of July, you won't be the same person. You won't think the same way. You won't accept the same limitations. You won't tolerate the same disrespect. Because when God opens a door, He doesn't just change your circumstances, He changes your capacity. Your pain has been your preparation. Every tear has been your tuition in the University of Divine Purpose. And now graduation day is the 31st of July. The key you've been looking for isn't in someone else's hand. It's not hidden in some far-off place. It's in your pocket right now. You've been carrying it all along. Faith, the size of a mustard seed, that tiny flicker of hope you refused to let die even when everything around you was dying. That's your key. And on the 31st of July, every lock that has kept you out, held you back, or told you no, is going to click open with supernatural precision. Everything you've endured is about to make perfect sense. The delays weren't denials, they were divine timing. The closed doors weren't rejections, they were redirections. The people who left weren't losses, they were clearances, making room for the right people to enter your life. If you believe, If you know in your spirit that the 31st of July is your divine appointment, write it in the comments right now. Don't just think it, declare it. Stamp it in the spirit realm. The 31st of July is my door. Because, chosen one, something is about to shift so dramatically in your life that you'll divide your existence into 2 chapters, before the 31st of July and after the 31st of July. The question isn't whether this will happen. The question is, will you be ready when it does? Dear one, I need you to understand something that's going to shake everything you thought you knew about suffering. You've been carrying this weight for months, maybe years. That empty chair at the dinner table, the bank statements that make your stomach drop, the mirror that reflects back a face marked by loss, by time, by dreams that seem buried 6 feet under. You thought it was a coffin, but it was a cocoon. Listen to me carefully. Every single tear you've shed over what you lost, your beloved spouse who knew your coffee order by heart, the financial security you spent 40 years building, the children who moved away and forgot to call. Every single tear wasn't wasted water. It was holy irrigation preparing soil for something you can't see yet. But God sees it. You know what the enemy whispered to you when you lost your husband of 52 years? It's over. Your best days died with him. You know what he hissed when that medical bill wiped out your savings. You're too old to start over. You know what he screamed when you looked at your 73-year-old hands and wondered if you'd wasted your life. You missed it. You're too late. That's a lie from the pit of hell. Romans 8:28 doesn't have an expiration date. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. All things, not some things, not the pretty things, all things. That includes the diagnosis that changed everything. That includes the divorce papers that arrived 30 years too late. That includes the call from the nursing home at 3 a.m. That includes the foreclosure notice. That includes the loneliness that sits on your chest like a 100-pound weight every single morning. All of it. Every devastating, heart-crushing, soul-breaking piece of it is being woven into something so beautiful, so powerful, so divinely orchestrated that when you see it on the 31st of July, you're going to fall to your knees and whisper, "Now I understand." You didn't miss your moment. You became the moment. You think you're broken? Let me tell you what broken looks like in God's hands. Broken looks like Moses at 80, finally ready to lead because his confidence in himself was shattered. Broken looks like Sarah at 90, laughing at the impossibility of new life. Broken looks like David in that cave, writing psalms that would comfort millions while his world fell apart around him. Your breaking wasn't your ending. It was your beginning. And here's what's going to devastate you in the most beautiful way possible. What you lost, God is about to restore, not in the same form, but in greater glory. Not a replacement, an upgrade, not a substitute, a supernatural multiplication. Joel 2:25-26 says, "I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten. You will have plenty to eat until you are full. And you will praise the name of the Lord your God, who has worked wonders for you." The locusts ate your retirement fund. God's about to open financial doors you didn't even know existed. The locusts ate your marriage. God's about to fill that house with more love than you had in 40 years. The locusts ate your health. Watch what the God who breathed life into dust is about to do with your body. But here's the key. And this is why the 31st of July is marked in heaven's calendar. You had to lose it all to receive it all. Because the old vessel couldn't hold what God wanted to pour. The old foundation couldn't support what God wanted to build. The old you couldn't handle what the new you is about to carry. You've been in surgery, spiritual surgery, and every loss, every pain, every sleepless night has been God removing what was killing you and preparing space for what's going to resurrect you. That loneliness you feel, it's not punishment, it's preparation. God has been clearing out the noise so you can hear His voice more clearly than ever before. That financial pressure? It's not judgment. It's redirection toward a provision so miraculous it will become your testimony. That regret over lost time? It's not condemnation. It's God showing you that your greatest years aren't behind you. They're about to begin. You know why you're still here? Not by accident, not by luck, not because death forgot your address. You're still here because your assignment isn't finished. You're still here because someone needs what you're about to carry. You're still here because the 31st of July has been waiting for you since before you were born. Every person who said you were too old, too broken, too poor, too late, they're about to eat those words. Not because you're bitter, not because you want revenge, but because when God vindicates His chosen ones, He doesn't whisper. He shouts through manifestation. If you've cried over what you lost, and I know you have, precious one, whisper this with me right now. But I'm still here. Say it again, louder. But I'm still here, because being here is the prophecy. Your pulse is a promise. Your breath is a declaration. Your tears are not the period at the end of your sentence. They're the comma before your greatest chapter. And that chapter begins in exactly 23 days. But what happens next will determine whether you're ready to walk through that door when it swings open. You've been waiting for God to open a door for you. But what if I told you something that would shatter everything you thought you knew about breakthrough? What if the door you've been praying for, pleading for, crying for in the middle of those 3 a.m. nights? What if that door has a name, and that name is you? Stop right there. Don't let your mind race ahead. Feel this truth settling into your chest like warm honey. You are not waiting for a door. You are the door that heaven has been preparing to swing wide open. Listen to me, chosen one. For 70, 80, maybe 90 years, you've walked this earth believing you were on the outside looking in. You've stood on porches of purpose, knocking, begging, hoping someone would notice you were there. But the handle was in your hand the whole time. You think you're too old. You think you've missed your moment. You think your best days are locked behind you in some dusty photo album. Let me tell you what God sees when He looks at you right now, today, at this very second. He sees Revelation 3-7, -8 walking around in human flesh. These are the words of Him who is holy and true, who holds the key of David. What He opens, no one can shut, and what He shuts, no one can open. I know your deeds. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. You are that open door. You're not waiting for it. You're not hoping for it. You are it. But here's where it gets personal. Here's where heaven stops whispering and starts shouting. Every single thing that tried to break you, every person who walked away, every dream that seemed to crumble in your hands, it wasn't destroying you. It was carving you, hollowing you out, making space. Making space for what, you ask? For others to walk through you into their breakthrough. You've been standing on the porch of purpose, thinking God forgot your address. But He's been waiting for you to realize you're not the visitor, you're the house. You're not the guest, you're the host. You're not seeking the miracle, you are the miracle that others have been praying for. How many people in your family tree are waiting for you to step into who you really are? How many generations behind you and ahead of you are depending on the door that is your life to finally swing open? Right now, somewhere in America, there's a grandchild who needs to see what it looks like when someone refuses to quit. There's a neighbor who's lost all hope until they see the light that's about to explode from your life. There's a stranger in the grocery store who's planning to end their story until they encounter the divine energy that radiates from you when you finally accept your identity. You thought the breakthrough was coming from outside, but heaven's been waiting for you to move. The Bible says in 1 Peter 2-9, "You are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of Him who called you out of darkness into His wonderful light." Read that again. You are chosen. Not were chosen, not might be chosen if you fix yourself. You are chosen. Right now, today, at 85 years old, at 92 years old, with your arthritis and your medications and your slower walk and your quieter voice, you are God's headline story. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. Here's what fear keeps screaming to drown out. The 31st of July isn't just about your breakthrough. It's about the moment you stop being a person waiting for a miracle and become the miracle that others are waiting for. When you walk into that doctor's office, you're not just another patient, you're a door of healing energy. When you speak to that cashier who looks defeated, you're not just making small talk, you're a door of hope opening. When you pray over that family situation that's been broken for decades, you're not just hoping God hears you. You're the door He's been waiting to open to flood that situation with light. Every wrinkle on your face is a testimony. Every gray hair is wisdom made visible. Every slow step you take carries the weight of divine authority because you've survived what others couldn't. You've endured what would have broken weaker vessels. You've held on when letting go would have been easier. You are not forgotten. You are God's headline. You are not a leftover. You are the main course. You are not expired. You are about to be revealed. The door isn't coming for you. The door is you. And on the 31st of July, heaven is about to show the world what happens when a chosen one finally realizes they're not seeking the entrance. They are the entrance. Every prayer you've prayed, every tear you've shed, every night you've wondered if God was listening. He was, but He wasn't preparing to open a door for you. He was preparing to open you as the door. If you know you're the door, if something just shifted in your spirit, if you can feel the hinges of your life about to move, say it out loud right now. Don't whisper it, declare it. God, open me. Because chosen one, your time as a visitor is over. It's time to be the house where miracles live. But this is just the beginning of what the 31st of July holds for you. You know what I've discovered after 5 decades of walking with broken souls through their darkest valleys? The moment right before breakthrough feels exactly like the moment right before breakdown. Your chest tightens, your breathing gets shallow. Everything in you wants to run. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know, that trembling in your spirit isn't fear. It's recognition. Your soul is recognizing home. Chosen one, I need you to stop running from the very thing that's trying to save you. For too long, you've been treating the 31st of July like it's just another date. But your spirit knows better. Your spirit has been preparing for this moment since you took your first breath. Look at what Jesus said in Matthew 11:28. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Not tomorrow, not next year. Now, this moment, this sacred space we're sharing right here. You've been laboring, haven't you? Carrying weights that were never yours to bear. Fighting battles that God already won. Trying to open doors with keys that don't fit because you didn't realize the door was already unlocked. But here's the shocking truth nobody talks about in church anymore. Sometimes God has to let you get tired enough to finally let Him carry you. Sometimes He has to let the pain get loud enough to drown out every other voice telling you to keep pushing, keep grinding, keep pretending you're fine. You're not fine, and that's not failure. That's faith knocking on the door of your surrender. I want you to do something right now. I don't care who's watching. I don't care how foolish it feels. Put your hand on your heart. Feel that beating. That's not just blood pumping. That's the rhythm of heaven calling your name. Now I want you to say these words with me. Out loud. Let your voice break if it needs to. Let the tears come if they want to. Lord, I've survived enough. I'm ready to walk through. Say it again. Lord, I've survived enough. I'm ready to walk through. Do you feel that shift? That's not your imagination. That's the atmosphere in your room changing. That's angels repositioning themselves around your life. That's heaven responding to the sound of a warrior finally laying down their sword and picking up their crown. Here's what Psalm 46:10 really means when it says, "Be still and know that I am God." It's not asking you to meditate, it's commanding you to stop fighting God's plan with your pain. Stop wrestling with the very blessing that's trying to birth itself through your brokenness. The Israelites wandered in the wilderness for 40 years because they kept trying to go back to Egypt every time the journey got difficult. They preferred familiar bondage to unfamiliar freedom. Sound familiar? You've been circling the same mountain for years, chosen one, the same arguments, the same disappointments, the same 3 a.m. conversations with God where you beg Him to change your circumstances instead of surrendering to His process. But the 31st of July is your Red Sea moment. It's the day God stops asking you to trust the process and starts showing you the promise. It's the day the waters part, not because you figured out how to make them move, but because you finally stopped trying to swim through them. Say it with me again. I surrender the pain. I receive the door. I surrender the pain. I receive the door. Feel those words in your chest. Let them settle in your spirit like seeds in good soil, because that's exactly what they are. Those aren't just words. Those are keys. Keys to rooms in your destiny that have been locked since before you were born. Here's what's about to happen, and I need you to understand this with every fiber of your being. Your breakthrough isn't coming because you deserve it. It's coming because you finally stopped believing you don't. The woman with the issue of blood in Mark 5 didn't get healed because she had perfect faith. She got healed because she had desperate faith. She'd tried everything else, every doctor, every remedy, every hope had been exhausted, and in her exhaustion, she found something more powerful than strength. She found surrender. Your pain has been your teacher, but it was never meant to be your permanent address. The 31st of July is your moving day, not because the pain magically disappears, but because you finally understand what it came to deliver. It came to deliver you to this moment, this sacred yes, this holy surrender where you stop asking God to change your story and start trusting Him to complete it. This isn't hype, this is home. This is the moment your soul has been homesick for since you were old enough to hurt. This is the moment every tear was watering. This is the reason every door had to close, so this one could open. And when it does, you'll understand why it had to be the 31st of July. Why it had to be you. Why it had to hurt this much to heal this deep. Are you ready to stop surviving and start thriving? Are you ready to trade your survival story for your victory song? Because once you walk through this door, there's no going back to the person who used to accept less than God's best. You woke up this morning, and everything felt strangely still. The room was the same. Your coffee mug sitting exactly where you left it. The bills were still on the kitchen table. That crack in the ceiling that's been there for 3 years hasn't moved an inch, but your spirit wasn't in the same place anymore. Something shifted overnight. You can't put your finger on it, but you know it's real. It's like walking into your own house and feeling like a stranger. Not because anything changed on the outside, but because everything changed on the inside. What if you didn't just wake up? You crossed over? What if today, the 1st of August, is the first step into the next version of your life? If you feel it too, if your spirit can sense it, type this. It's not the same day. Listen to me, chosen one. There's a reason you're feeling displaced in your own skin today. There's a reason that familiar anxiety in your chest has been replaced by something you can't name. It's not confusion. It's not depression. It's spiritual displacement. You've been living in one realm, and now you're standing at the threshold of another. The Bible tells us in 2 Corinthians 5:17, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone, the new is here." But here's what they don't tell you in Sunday school. The transformation doesn't always feel like celebration. Sometimes it feels like death. The death of who you used to be. And death always feels disorienting. You've been praying for change for years. decades maybe. You've cried out to God in hospital waiting rooms, in empty bedrooms after the kids moved out, in your car, in the parking lot of jobs that drain your soul. You've begged heaven to move, to shift something, to break the cycle. But when breakthrough finally comes, why does it feel so strange? Because breakthrough doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes your frequency. And when your frequency changes, everything around you starts to feel foreign. Your old coping mechanisms don't work anymore. The things that used to comfort you feel hollow. The people who used to understand you suddenly seem to be speaking a different language. You're not losing your mind. You're finding your purpose. Think about Moses when he came down from Mount Sinai. Exodus 34-29 says his face was so radiant from speaking with God that the Israelites couldn't even look at him. He had to wear a veil because his transformation was too intense for others to handle. That's you right now. You've been on the mountain. You've been in the presence of something holy. And now you're walking back into a world that hasn't experienced what you've experienced. Of course it feels different. Of course you feel displaced. You're carrying light that this world doesn't recognize yet. But here's what's really happening beneath the surface. The 31st of July wasn't just a date that passed. It was a spiritual surgery. While you slept, heaven performed an operation on your soul. Old patterns were cut away. Generational curses were severed. Limiting beliefs that have controlled your family line for decades were extracted like spiritual tumors. You woke up on the 1st of August as a different person. Not physically, spiritually, energetically, prophetically. And just like any surgery, there's a recovery period. There's adjustment. There's that strange feeling of something being different even though you can't see the stitches. Your friends might not notice yet. Your family might not see it. But the enemy does. Hell recognizes transformation even when heaven is still quiet about it. That's why you might be feeling spiritual warfare you haven't felt in years. That's why old temptations are suddenly knocking on your door. That's why people from your past are suddenly reaching out. The kingdom of darkness is scrambling because they've lost their grip on you. You're not the same person who went to sleep on the 30th of July. That version of you was tired, beaten down, convinced that this is as good as it gets. But the person who opened their eyes on the 1st of August carries authority they didn't have before. Vision they've never possessed. Faith that feels foreign because it's so strong. Isaiah 43-19 declares, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. Do you perceive it? Can you feel the new thing springing up inside you even though your circumstances haven't caught up yet? This displacement you're feeling isn't punishment. It's promotion. You're being prepared for rooms you've never been in, conversations you've never had, levels of influence you've never imagined. But first, you have to get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable in your own skin, because the version of you that's emerging isn't meant to fit in the old spaces anymore. You woke up this morning, and something felt different, didn't you? Yesterday, the 31st of July came and went. Maybe you felt that shift I promised you. Maybe doors started creaking open. Maybe phone calls came through. Maybe opportunities knocked. Maybe peace finally settled in your chest for the first time in years. But today, that old familiar voice is back, whispering in your ear. Did you imagine it all? Was it really God, or just wishful thinking? Look around you, nothing's really changed. You're still in the same house, same job, same struggles. Maybe you're just getting your hopes up again. Let me tell you something, chosen one. That voice, that doubt creeping back in, that emotional fatigue weighing you down like a wet blanket, that's not failure. That's confirmation. You see, after every Red Sea moment, Pharaoh always tries one last chase. After every breakthrough, hell throws one final tantrum. Your Egypt is behind you, but it screams the loudest when you start walking away. Listen to me carefully. The children of Israel had already walked through the Red Sea on dry ground. They had already seen the walls of water standing like skyscrapers on both sides. They had already felt the miraculous sand beneath their feet. The impossible had already happened. But what does Scripture tell us in Exodus 14:10? When Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. So they were very afraid. Very afraid. After the miracle, after the breakthrough, after God had already proven himself. Why? Because your old life doesn't give up without a fight. Right now, someone watching this is feeling exactly what those Israelites felt. You're standing on the other side of your own Red Sea, but you can hear the chariots behind you. You can hear the voices of doubt, the echoes of your past failures, the whispers of you don't deserve this. You're asking yourself, why do I still feel so heavy? If God really moved on the 31st of July, why am I struggling today? Why does my mind keep going back to the old fears? Because transformation isn't a light switch, dear one. It's a journey. And every journey has a moment where you want to turn around and go back to Egypt. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. Here's what those voices of resistance are desperately trying to hide from you. The fact that you're being attacked today means you actually crossed over yesterday. The fact that doubt is fighting so hard means faith is winning. The fact that your old patterns are screaming means your new destiny is emerging. You don't get spiritual backlash from staying in the same place. You get backlash from moving forward. Hell doesn't waste ammunition on people who aren't advancing. The devil doesn't send his best weapons against folks who are sitting still. But you've moved, you've shifted, you've stepped into something new, and now the old realm is trying to pull you back. In Exodus 14:13, Moses told the people something that will change your perspective forever. Do not be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall see again no more forever. Stand still. See the salvation. The Egyptians you see today, those old voices, those familiar fears, those patterns that have chased you for years, you shall see them no more forever. But first, you have to resist the urge to run back. I know it's hard. I know the new territory feels unfamiliar. I know the old slavery sometimes feels safer than the new freedom. At least in Egypt, you knew what to expect. At least in bondage, you had a routine. But God didn't part the sea for you to go back and forth like a revolving door. He opened it for you to walk through and keep walking. The 31st of July opened the door. The 1st of August teaches you how to walk through it without turning back. See, what happened on the 31st of July wasn't just a moment, it was a portal. It wasn't just a blessing, it was a bridge. You stepped from one realm into another, and now you're learning how to live in this new atmosphere. The old you couldn't handle where you're going. The old mindset couldn't process what you're about to receive. The old patterns couldn't sustain what God is about to build through you. So yes, there's resistance. Yes, there's pushback. Yes, you feel like you're in spiritual warfare because you are. But listen to me. The same God who parted the Red Sea is the same God who closed it behind the Israelites. Exodus 14:28 says, "The waters returned and covered the chariots, the horsemen, and all the army of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. Not so much as one of them remained." Not one. Not a single voice from your past will survive this crossing if you keep walking forward. Your breakthrough didn't fail because you're feeling resistance today. Your breakthrough is being tested because it's real. God is asking you the same question he asked Israel. Will you trust me on the other side of the miracle, or will you panic when you hear the old voices? The promised land isn't just about getting out of Egypt. It's about Egypt getting out of you. If you've heard that old voice today, the voice of doubt, guilt, shame, fear, if it's been whispering, go back. This is too good to be true. You don't deserve this. I need you to do something right now. I need you to comment these 4 words. But I'm still walking. Say it out loud. Declare it. Let hell know that their resistance only confirms you're on the right path. Because here's what's about to happen next. Here's what the enemy is trying to distract you from seeing. Now listen to me carefully, chosen one. I need to tell you something that's going to shake your expectations to the core. You've been praying for this door to open. You've been begging heaven to end your pain, to finally give you that breakthrough, that moment of relief where you can exhale and say, "Thank God it's over." But what if I told you that the other side of that door isn't a reclining chair? What if I told you it's not a vacation from your struggles? What if the other side of that door on the 31st of July is a battlefield? You see, there's a lie we've been sold in American Christianity. We've been told that blessing equals ease, that favor means comfort, that when God opens a door, we walk through into some spiritual retirement home where everything is handed to us on a silver platter. That's not biblical. That's not truth. And that's not what's waiting for you. Look at Joshua chapter 5. The Israelites had just crossed the Jordan River. 40 years of wandering were over. The promised land was right there. They could taste it. They could smell the milk and honey. And what did God do? Did he throw them a welcome party? Did he say, "Congratulations, you made it, now rest"? Number. He told them to get circumcised. He told them to prepare for war. He said, "Boys, crossing the Jordan didn't mean the battle ended. It meant the territory had to be fought for. You weren't saved just to rest, chosen one. You were sent to occupy." That door opening on the 31st of July, it's not your reward. It's your commission. It's not your destination. It's your deployment. God is not just blessing you. He's building you to carry the weight of your calling. And here's what's been happening to you these past months, these past years. You thought you were being punished. You thought you were being forgotten. You thought heaven had gone silent on you. But don't confuse quiet with absence. This silence has been sacred training ground. Every sleepless night when you wrestled with doubt, that was endurance training. Every time someone walked away from you when you needed them most, that was dependency training. Every door that slammed shut when you thought it was your moment, that was patience training. You've been in God's military academy, and you didn't even know it, because what's coming through that door requires a different version of you. Not the version that complains when things get hard, not the version that quits when the pressure mounts, not the version that runs when the responsibility gets heavy, the version that's been forged in the fire of your trials, the version that's learned to stand when everything around you is falling, the version that's discovered strength you never knew you had. You think you've been waiting for a breakthrough? You've been undergoing a breakdown of your old identity, of your limited thinking, of your small vision of what God can do through you. And on the 31st of July, when that door swings open, you're not walking through as the same person who's been crying for deliverance. You're walking through as someone who's been prepared for dominion. But here's what terrifies most people when they realize this truth. Here's what makes them want to close this video and pretend they never heard it. The weight of what you're being called to carry is going to be heavier than the pain you're trying to escape. The responsibility on the other side of that door is going to require more of you than the struggle on this side ever did. Because easy doors don't require chosen ones. Anyone can walk through an easy door. But the door that's opening for you on the 31st of July, that door requires someone who's been tested, someone who's been proven, someone who's learned to trust God in the dark so they can lead others into the light. That's why not everyone gets this calling. That's why not everyone hears this message. That's why your spirit is burning right now as I speak these words. Because you're not being prepared for comfort. You're being conditioned for kingship. And kings don't rule from their bedrooms. Kings rule from their thrones. And thrones aren't comfortable. They're positions of authority that require constant vigilance, constant decision-making, constant sacrifice for the people you're called to serve. Joshua didn't cross the Jordan to take a nap. He crossed it to take territory. David didn't kill Goliath to retire. He killed him to reign. Jesus didn't rise from the dead to vacation in heaven. He rose to send out apostles who would turn the world upside down. And you, chosen one, You're not being delivered just for your own peace of mind. You're being prepared to deliver others. The door that opens on the 31st of July isn't leading to your promised land. It's leading to your purpose. And your purpose is bigger than your personal problems. Your calling is wider than your own comfort. Your assignment is higher than your own happiness. If you're ready to be trained for what you've been praying for, if you're ready to discover that the blessing is actually a burden that you'll carry with joy, if you're ready to understand that the door isn't opening to let you out of the battle but to position you at the front lines, type this in the comments right now. I will be ready. Because what's coming next will determine whether you're truly chosen or just comfortable with the idea of being chosen. Are you ready to discover what heaven has been preparing you to fight for? You felt it, didn't you? That shift in the atmosphere after the 31st of July passed. Something changed. The air around you feels different. Thicker. More electric. More watched. Let me tell you why. The devil doesn't attack random people, chosen one. He attacks revelation. He attacks breakthrough. He attacks those who are about to step into their divine assignment. And right now, as you're hearing these words, hell is in emergency session because heaven just whispered your name again. And they heard it. For years you've been flying under the radar, quiet, hidden, healing in the shadows, praying in secret. Wrestling with God in private places where no one could see your tears or hear your desperate pleas for breakthrough. You thought you were invisible. You were wrong. You were protected. There's a difference between being forgotten and being hidden. God hides what he values. He conceals what he's preparing to reveal. And for the last decade, you've been in divine concealment, being shaped, being molded, being prepared for something the enemy could only guess at. But the 1st of August changed everything. You used to be a secret. Now you're a signal. Think about it. Why do you think the attacks have intensified lately? Why are your closest relationships suddenly under pressure? Why is your health being tested? Why are financial challenges hitting you from angles you never saw coming? Why are people who used to support you now questioning your decisions? It's not coincidence. It's confirmation. The enemy sees what's coming for you, and he's terrified. Because when a chosen one finally steps into their full authority, when they stop playing small and start walking in the power they were born to carry, kingdoms shift. Territories change hands. Generational curses don't just break, they shatter. Jesus warned us about this in Matthew 10:22. You will be hated by everyone because of me, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. He didn't say maybe you'll face opposition. He said you will. Because opposition is the evidence that you're moving in the right direction. The Pharisees didn't try to kill Jesus when he was a carpenter. They came for him when he started healing the sick, raising the dead, and setting captives free. Power threatens powerlessness. Light exposes darkness. And your emerging anointing is making hell nervous. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. His attacks are actually prophecy in reverse. Every scheme he launches against you is confirmation of the blessing that's about to break through. Every door he tries to slam shut is evidence of the breakthrough door that's about to swing wide open. Look at Job. The devil had to ask permission to touch him. Why? Because Job was covered, protected, blessed. And Satan knew that if he could get Job to curse God, he could stop something massive from being released through Job's lineage. The same strategy is being used against you right now. You're experiencing what I call threshold warfare. You're standing at the edge of your promised land, and the enemy is throwing everything he has at you to make you turn back, to make you believe the wilderness was safer, to convince you that the pain you've known is better than the purpose you don't yet understand. But I have news for the enemy, and I have news for you. You've come too far to quit now. You've survived too much to surrender here. The God who brought you through the valley isn't going to abandon you at the mountaintop. In Ephesians 6:12, Paul reminds us, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." That difficulty at your job? That's not your boss, that's territorial spirits trying to block your promotion. That health scare? That's not just medical, that's spiritual warfare against the vessel God wants to use. That family member who suddenly turned against you? They're not the real enemy, they're being influenced by forces that recognize the threat you represent to darkness. You don't need to be afraid, but you do need to be alert. The enemy's greatest weapon isn't his power, it's your ignorance of his schemes. But now you know, now you see. Now you understand why everything has felt like a battle lately. It's because it has been a battle for your destiny, a battle for your breakthrough, a battle for the territory God is about to give you. And you're winning. Every morning you choose to get up instead of giving up, you're winning. Every time you pray instead of panic, you're winning. Every moment you choose faith over fear, you're winning. The enemy thought the 31st of July was going to break you. Instead, it broke the chains that were holding you back. He thought the pressure would make you crack. Instead, it made you crystal clear about who you are and what you're called to do. You are not the same person who started this year. You are not the same person who walked into July. The fire didn't consume you, it refined you. The pressure didn't crush you, it created diamonds in your spirit. And now hell is panicking because they see what heaven has always seen. A warrior who refuses to stay down. A chosen one who won't be intimidated. A child of the Most High God who knows their identity and isn't backing down from their assignment. The attacks are about to intensify, but so is your anointing. The warfare is about to increase, but so is your authority. The enemy is about to get more desperate, but you're about to get more dangerous. Comment this if you're not backing down. I'm not going back, I'm going forward, armed. Because the question isn't whether you'll face opposition. The question is, when the smoke clears and the dust settles, will you still be standing in the territory God promised you? You know what breaks my heart? It's watching chosen ones like you believe the lie that you've been walking this journey alone. That every step through the valley, every stumble in the dark, every moment when your knees buckled under the weight of it all, that somehow you were abandoned. Let me shatter that deception right now. You've been walking, but you're not walking alone. You never have been. Dear one, I need you to understand something that will change how you see every single day you've survived. When you look back at your footprints in the sand of your story, those aren't all yours. There are other prints there. Deeper ones, stronger ones, prints that appear exactly when yours disappear. If you could see into the spirit world right now, if the veil was pulled back for just 1 second, you'd see angels trailing you like bodyguards. Not 1 or 2, legions. A heavenly entourage that's been assigned to your life before you took your first breath. They've been there through every midnight panic attack, every hospital visit, every funeral, every betrayal that left you questioning if God even cares. They care. He cares. And the proof isn't in what you can see, it's in what you survived. Think about it. How many times should you have broken completely? How many times should that diagnosis have been your end? How many times should that financial crisis have destroyed everything? How many times should that betrayal have left you unable to trust again? But you're still here, still breathing, still believing enough to watch this video. That's not luck, chosen one. That's supernatural intervention. The Bible doesn't whisper about this, it declares it. Psalm 91 thunders with this truth. He will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. Not some of your ways, all your ways. The messy ways, the broken ways, the ways you're ashamed to admit. Every single step. Isaiah 43:2 isn't a suggestion, it's a divine guarantee. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. Notice it doesn't say if you pass through deep waters. It says when, because God knows what's coming. And he's already positioned himself in your future. But here's what devastates me. You've been walking through these waters thinking you're drowning alone. You've been interpreting every struggle as evidence that God forgot about you, when it's actually evidence that He's carrying you through what would have killed anyone else. Those sleepless nights when your mind was racing with worry, an angel was stationed at your bedside, whispering peace over your spirit, even when your thoughts couldn't receive it. That moment when you almost gave up, when you were one decision away from ending it all, a warrior angel stepped between you and destruction, deflecting the enemy's final blow. That phone call that came at exactly the right time with exactly the right opportunity, that wasn't coincidence. That was divine coordination. You want to know why the devil has been so relentless in attacking you? Because he can see what you can't see yet. He can see the army that surrounds you. He can see the destiny that's unfolding. He can see the 31st of July approaching like a freight train of breakthrough, and he's panicking. But here's his fatal mistake. He's been so focused on attacking you that he forgot who's protecting you. The same God who closed the lions' mouths for Daniel has been closing the mouths of every enemy that tried to devour your future. The same God who walked with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace has been walking with you through every trial that should have consumed you. You survived because you were never alone. Those panic attacks that felt like you were dying, an angel was regulating your heartbeat. That depression that felt like it would swallow you whole, a heavenly host was fighting for your mind. That financial crisis that should have left you homeless, divine provision was already being arranged before you even knew you needed it. But I need you to stop walking like an orphan. Stop moving through life like you're fighting these battles with your bare hands. Stop believing the lie that if God really loved you, the journey would be easier. The journey isn't easy because the destination is extraordinary. You weren't chosen for a comfortable life. You were chosen for a powerful one. And powerful lives require supernatural backing, which is exactly what you have. Right here, right now, I need you to do something that might feel impossible. I need you to acknowledge what your faith has been too wounded to declare. Say it out loud. I am not walking alone. If it's hard to believe, type it in the comments. Let your fingers confess what your heart is afraid to trust, because speaking this truth out loud breaks the spiritual deception that's been convincing you that you're abandoned. You are covered. You are guarded. You are accompanied by the host of heaven every single step of this journey. And that journey, it's about to lead you through a door that's been locked for years. A door marked the 31st of July, 2025. A door your divine escorts have been preparing to open. But first, you need to understand exactly why this door has remained sealed until now. Look at me. Look directly into my eyes right now. The 1st of August, 2025 is not just another date flipping on your kitchen calendar. It's not just another Friday you'll scroll through on your phone, wondering where the week went. In the eternal script, the one written before time began, the 1st of August has a glowing underline. It's marked in fire. It's circled in gold. It's the day God has been pointing to since the moment you took your first breath. This is not just the next day. This is a heavenly footnote. You want to know why you've been sensing something stirring in your spirit, why you can't shake the feeling that change is coming, why you keep waking up at 3:17 a.m. with your heart pounding, not from fear, but from anticipation, because there's a calendar in heaven. And around the 1st of August there are flames dancing, angels are gathering. The Father himself is preparing to move. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. But here's what most people don't understand about that verse. It's not just a pretty promise to put on a coffee mug. It's a divine contract, and your contract has a delivery date, the 1st of August. Listen to me carefully, chosen one. Every single thing that has crushed your spirit over the past decade, every door that slammed in your face, every person who walked away when you needed them most, every dream that seemed to crumble in your hands, none of it was random. None of it was punishment. All of it was preparation. You've been living in the 31st of July for years. the last day of suffering, the final hours of what feels like endless waiting. But the 31st of July is not your home, it's your launching pad. Because the 1st of August, that's where God confirms what he whispered in private. Think about it. When did Moses receive the 10 Commandments? Not during the chaos at the bottom of the mountain, during the stillness at the top. When did Elijah hear the voice of God? Not in the earthquake, not in the fire, in the gentle whisper that came after the storm. Your storm is the 31st of July. Your whisper is the 1st of August. But I need you to understand something that's going to shake you to your core. The enemy has been fighting you so hard these past months because he knows what's coming. He can see the calendar too. He knows that the 1st of August is your divine marker. Every attack on your health, every financial pressure, every relationship that suddenly turned cold, every night you've laid in bed wondering if God forgot about you, it's all been spiritual warfare designed to make you quit one day before your breakthrough. One day. The devil doesn't fight people who aren't dangerous. He doesn't waste his time on people who don't carry something powerful. The fact that you've been under attack means you're about to be under favor. The fact that July has felt so heavy means August is going to be so light. Here's what's going to happen on the 1st of August. And I need you to write this down. I need you to screenshot this moment. Because when it happens, you're going to remember exactly where you were when you heard this word. The phone call you've been waiting for is going to come. The door that's been locked for years is going to creak open. The person who owes you an apology is going to find the courage to make it. The financial breakthrough that seemed impossible is going to become inevitable. But more than that, and this is the part that's going to make you cry, you're going to wake up that morning, and for the first time in years, you're going to feel peace. Not the kind of peace that comes from having all your problems solved. The kind of peace that comes from knowing who's in control of your problems. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. Isaiah 26:3. Perfect peace. On the 1st of August, chosen one, your mind is going to become steadfast. The anxiety that's been your unwelcome companion is going to pack its bags and leave. The worry that's been stealing your sleep is going to find another address. Because this is the day where the page finally turns. You've been reading the same chapter for too long. The chapter called Waiting. The chapter called Why Me. The chapter called How Much Longer. But the 1st of August is where God picks up the pen and starts writing chapter 2. The chapter called Watch This. The chapter called Now You See. The chapter called This Is Why. And everyone who counted you out is going to have to count you back in. Everyone who wrote you off is going to have to rewrite their opinion. Everyone who said you were finished is going to watch you just getting started. But here's the key, and this is crucial. The 1st of August is not going to look dramatic at first. Divine moments rarely do. It might be a text message. It might be a chance encounter at the grocery store. It might be an idea that hits you while you're brushing your teeth. But your spirit is going to recognize it immediately. You're going to feel that familiar tingle, that holy knowing, that sense of, this is it, this is what I've been waiting for. And in that moment, you're going to understand that every single second of pain was worth it, because it brought you here, to this divine marker, to this heavenly footnote, to this confirmation of what God whispered in private. Write it now in the comments. I'm not asking, I'm telling you. Write it now. The 1st of August is my confirmation. Let heaven see your name stamped on it. Let the angels know you're ready. Let God know you believe. Because, chosen one, the countdown is almost over. The 31st of July is your last day of pain. And what comes next is going to change everything you thought you knew about your story. Chosen one, as we reach the end of this sacred moment together, I need you to hold on to 3 truths that will carry you through the next 24 hours and beyond. First, the 31st of July is not your enemy, it's your graduation day. Every tear you've shed, every sleepless night you've endured, every moment you've felt forgotten has been preparing you for the 1st of August. Your pain has purpose, your waiting has wisdom. Your struggle has strength hidden within it. Second, the 1st of August is not just another date, it's your divine confirmation. God has been orchestrating behind the scenes, moving pieces into place, preparing hearts to bless you, opening doors that only He holds the keys to. What feels delayed has been divinely designed. And third, you are not walking this journey alone, not for one single step. Right now, as I speak these words, there are thousands of people watching this message who understand exactly what you're going through. They've felt that same 3 a.m. anxiety. They've questioned that same divine timing. They've wondered if their breakthrough would ever come. You are part of a community of chosen ones, and we are praying for each other. We are believing for each other. We are standing in faith together. But before we part ways tonight, I want to ask you something that might change how you see tomorrow morning. What if God has been using the 31st of July to prepare someone else's, the 1st of August? What if your testimony of breakthrough is exactly what another chosen one needs to hear to keep believing? Share this message, not for my sake, but for theirs, because somewhere in your circle of influence is someone who needs to know that their pain has an expiration date too. Leave a comment below. Tell us what you're believing God for on the 1st of August. Ask this community to pray with you. Share your heart, because your vulnerability might be the very thing that gives someone else courage to hold on. And if this message has stirred something deep in your spirit, if you want to be part of this family of believers who are walking into their divine destiny together, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because your breakthrough story is still being written, and I want to be here to celebrate with you when it happens. Now, before you close this video, before you move on to the next thing demanding your attention, bow your head with me. Whether you're in your bedroom, your kitchen, your car, or wherever this message has found you, just close your eyes and receive this blessing. Heavenly Father, I'm placing my hand on the shoulder of every person hearing these words right now. Lord, you see them. You know their name. You know their story. You know the weight they've been carrying and the dreams they've been protecting in the secret chambers of their heart. God, I thank you that the 31st of July is not their final chapter. I thank you that their pain has been their preparation, not their punishment. I thank you that every door that closed was making room for the door you're about to open wide. Father, on the 1st of August, let your favor be undeniable in their life. Let your confirmation be unmistakable. Let every person who needs to see their breakthrough witness your goodness in action. Let every blessing that's been delayed find its way to their doorstep. Heal their broken hearts, God. Restore their finances. Reconcile their relationships. Renew their hope. And let them sleep tonight with the deep peace that comes from knowing their story is in your hands. Lord, we seal this prayer with faith. We stamp it with expectation. We mark it with the authority of your word that says, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." Their morning is the 1st of August. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Chosen one, don't forget, your story isn't over. It's just getting to the good part. I'll see you on the other side of your breakthrough. God bless you. Thank you for spending this sacred time with me. And remember, the 1st of August is your divine marker. Until next time, keep believing, keep standing, keep knowing that you are chosen, you are loved, and you are not alone. Peace be with you.